Welcome back to another episode of the Build Guide. We're here today. We're going to be looking at the 2020 Koenigsegg Jesko, or Jesko as everyone calls it. So the Jesko is another vehicle that only has the stock option engine in it. So it's just a very plain and simple build. I'm going to show you guys what I do particularly with my build. There are probably more optimal builds out there, but there's not a lot that you can actually customize with this thing. So let's just kind of do a speed run of what the options are. I went ahead and I changed it from rear wheel drive to all wheel drive, considering that at lower speeds, it's significantly harder to handle given that it just has so much horsepower. So instead, I took the sacrifice of having less handling at higher speeds and more acceleration and more handling towards the beginning of it revving up and actually getting to speed. Following that, the only engine option that you can actually put on this thing is upgrading it from a stock to a race twin turbo. I kept the stock springs and dampeners, considering that the only other two options are a rally and drift build, and I highly don't recommend those two given that this thing is meant for speed and actually weight reduction. Make the thing lighter and faster. So for the transmission, I went ahead and I put a 10 speed in it. I recommend for this one the 10 speed, but it's also subjective. I would play around with it, see what kind of tuning options you can do for all the transmissions in this vehicle, considering that it can vary on acceleration and high velocity. Upgrade the driveline. And I went ahead and put it in a race differential, considering that this is going to be for pavement. And for rims and tires, I went with the slick race tire compound, given that you're having the most benefit out of any other tire, including the stock tires in this case. I also made the front and the rear tires a little bit wider, and I also increased their width. The horsepower, we're looking at 1600 horsepower, and with the torque, we're looking at 1104 foot-pounds of torque. And the weight is roughly just less than 3,000 pounds. Light car, fast acceleration, fast velocity, lots of horsepower, lots of torque. This thing is meant for speed. And speaking of acceleration and speed, we're looking at a 0 to 60 mile an hour of 1.615 seconds, a 0 to 100 mile an hour of 2.786 seconds, and a top speed of 294.4 miles an hour. I know that people have built builds that do go over 300 miles an hour, so it's very capable of being able to make this a faster vehicle than I particularly have. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick and easy guide on the build guide. Highly recommend this vehicle. A way of getting one is doing the accolade for completing all 3 stars on the V10 series. It does take you quite a bit of time to complete that, so expect at least a minimum of an hour, if not 2 hours, to complete the whole series. But I highly recommend it for the same. Or if you're actually able to get the cash for it, build it or buy it off the auction, or more preferably the auto show, I would highly recommend those options too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and if you guys have any other vehicles you guys would like me to showcase on the build guide, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Thank you.